Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pretend Problems podcast. I'm Jason Bateman.
Whoa! I'm Will Arnett.
Hey.
We're missing Sean Hayes.
Yeah.
Smart. Blast. Smart. Blah. You really put me on the spot there.
Well, I kicked it off, and that's a little bit of an advantage. That I
Hello, everybody. I'm Will on Reese's.
What the fuck? All right, so listen, I'm in a better mood. Hi.
Obviously.
How are you? It was a topic of conversation after the podcast last episode. We started thinking like, should I be in a bad mood on the podcast? Should I wait until I'm in a good mood for the listeners to be able to digest my cherub-like nature?
Uh-huh.
And I said, I think this is a podcast where we try to, tell the truth. We talk about mental health. We talk about all this stuff. And I thought, well, what the fuck? Maybe I should be in a bad mood sometimes when I'm in a bad mood and not go, hey, everybody. I hope your life is great. And so I'd love to hear what you have to think. I don't know how you'd tell me because I don't check a lot of messages. But
you can leave a comment on this video.
Yeah, you can leave a comment on this here YouTube video. Or if you're listening, you could, I don't know. I'm not sure how that works.
You can put it in an iTunes review.
Yeah, but anyways, I am in a better mood. As I always come out of it, right? You're never going to see me go back to back bad moods because that's not how. Well, that's because we don't record like 1 hour and then the next hour.
Yeah.
I get a full recovery period, a refractory period if you're talking boner talk.
If we may be so bold, yeah. Do you want to share one of the comments that we got on last episode's?
Well, right.
Topic?
And so I did feel a little validated when someone said, I've been in a bad mood this whole month and tough to get out of it. I've been in a funk. I feel seen. Now, I don't know if that person was mocking me. I have no idea. But I took it as face value because that's what I'm trying to do with things that people say. I'm trying to not put my own spin on them. I'm just trying to take the words as they come to me. Mm-hmm. And so that made me feel okay. That made me feel all right. Now that was one out of a whole bunch of people. I'm sure there were a lot of people that were like, fuck this stump. But
you were being a stump.
I was being a stump.
You were unmovable.
I absolutely understand. And then we talked about some things. Maybe next time I'm in a bad mood, you can like mock me openly in this forum. And you did not want to do that because you feel like I'll double down on grumpiness. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. I don't think I would. I think for starters, and this is going to make some of you vomit. So if you're eating, careful. I think you're too cute to have me really double down on being grumpy. And I'm willing to admit I am a person that when in a bad mood, being reminded, hey, fucko, look around, I am definitely one of those people that helps.
Yeah.
To the point where I said to you, I go, maybe when I'm in a bad mood, you can go, hey, why don't you walk around the house and see this house you live in? Or why don't you look around the pets? Or why don't you see this partner you have? And then you said, why don't you do that? Why don't you just think that? Why do I have to say it out loud? And because sometimes when I'm in a funk, my brain is like, hold right there. Sorry, bar's full. I'm going to need you to wait out here in the rain. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking in any new stuff. I got a real fucking party of shit dick going on in here.
Yeah, your bad moods present, I think, a little more intensely than what feels like an approachable energy. We know how much our listeners love when I say that. I trust me, of anybody, I am the one who hates it the most. So don't worry about it. I'm only saying that jokingly, but yeah, when you're in a bad mood, I mean, I described it to you as like, well, I'm not trying to poke the bear.
Right.
There's nothing about the way you are when you're in a bad mood that makes me go, hey, I bet it would be better if I said fucko to him. I bet that's the key to pulling him out of this. I'm always just like walking on eggshell city. just like, okay, gonna just let this pass.
Right.
Also, in that particular situation with that episode, it seemed like your bad mood had come from a conversation between you and I. It wasn't like you were in a bad mood about something that happened with work or whatever. Right. So I extra don't feel like I'm the one to challenge it. Here's the thing. I watch tons of YouTube videos of my favorite beauty gurus I follow, and
that was the argument we had.
No. And I also really love when those girls who can be more, positive, cheery, all that stuff, do come on camera and go, I gotta tell you, I've been in a bad mood this week. I've felt depressed this month or whatever, because even if I'm not in a depressed place, I go, it's so nice and refreshing to see other people kind of take the fourth wall down and go, look, I'm coming on camera today because it's my job and I need to put a video out, but I'm not in a great place. I do like that. I think it's hard when you come on the podcast in a bad mood, because you don't do the podcast by yourself.
That's true.
And so then it feels a little bit on me to like steer the ship that episode.
It's about fucking time.
And person who always does the intro. And
checks listener questions and comes up with the middle segment and comes up with bullet points of what we're going to talk about at the beginning.
And makes clips.
And makes clips. Oh, Jesus. I just show up and I'm grumpy.
Yeah. Your whole pitch always for the show is like, I'm just going to show up and be funny. And that's enough. I'm great enough that I'll just do that.
Wait, that's not fair.
I know. You don't actually do that. I say, I mean, we talked about this before on the podcast where I say it's actually true. Like, Chad doesn't need to prep much because he is so naturally funny. So I'm the one that says it. But
okay. Okay, now we overcorrected. Now I'm in a bad mood.
Stop. Anyway, it's just, well, now I've lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, that it's tough if you're in a bad mood. It's like playing catch with a wall. Like, it's hard to have banter and a fun conversation if I'm like throwing you the ball and it's just dropping at your feet.
Right. Well, it's weird to me that you had mayo sandwiches, but still somehow grew up a rich kid. Who the fuck hasn't had to play catch with a wall? Hey, Dad, can I get a pitch back? Can I get one of those things, those like trampolines that throw the ball back to you? There's a fucking wall outside, isn't there? Well, can I have a ball? Fucking pretend. Okay, bye.
I also come from a house of divorce.
I understand that,
and
but
mayo
just
sandwiches.
You talking about not having to play catch with a wall, that's crazy to me. I do understand. I am the opposite of a Venus flytrap when I'm grumpy. Because a Venus flytrap looks so inviting. And where bugs are like, oh my God, am I about to pollinate the world? Let me land on that. And then,
yeah.
I am the opposite where I look unapproachable. There's no question.
Yeah.
However, I am easily influenced out of a bad mood just by something like, you're being fucking ridiculous or anything like that. And I know it seems like all that would do is make me go further down into my grumpiness, but it does really shake the tree a little bit and just like, okay.
Yeah, I think that is actually something. Do you feel like you're kind of into that sexually too? Like it's kind of, you like that.
I'm listening.
I feel like the time that you seemed maybe the most turned on by something I've said is when you were kind of pouting about being an empty nester. And I said, oh, do you gonna have blowjobs in your house now? Oh, I'm sorry. And you gave me this look that I was like, oh, like, okay, that I think, as you say, made your dick twitch. And I wasn't like expecting that to, but I was like, oh, it's funny how I think sometimes men do kind of like to get roasted, but which is, I like the way this feels. You make me feel very feminine in our relationship. I think because you really, like, I trust you to take on the shit that makes me feel taken care of. And so when you're in a bad mood, I don't go into like, fuck's your problem, huh? Like,
No,
I don't get roasty. I'm
wouldn't
like, okay.
that. I just, so I've often said one of my biggest faults is not being able to assess a situation when I'm in the inner ring of the situation.
Yeah.
When I can take a step back from a secondary or even tertiary glance. So, for example, if I was doing something that for whatever reason, it just wasn't helping my life move forward, but my friend was doing the exact same thing, I could go, hey man, just so you know, here's what I'm noticing. Here's what I think.
Yeah.
But I don't think about myself because I'm in it.
Yeah.
I'm in the situation. And when I'm in it, I'm assessing it from a different spot.
Yeah.
So I think when I'm in a bad mood, I'm just like, here's why I'm in a bad mood. I'm in a bad mood because this. I'm in a bad mood because this. And if someone goes, really, fucko?
Yeah.
Then I just go, oh yeah. Oh yeah. And is that fair to put on a partner or any other human being? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I do think that is kind of my modus operandi.
Do you want to talk about the thing that you asked me if we could try? Because I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand with that.
Sure. Yeah. So I, have noticed things about myself my whole life. And I just go, oh, is that from, I kind of come from a roasty family.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. When I have normally like 10 thoughts about any given situation.
Yeah.
And just like a person, just like how people act, the assholiest thought pushes its way to the front. Right?
The guy trying to get off the plane first.
Yeah. He just pushes his way to the front, and then all of a sudden that's the first thought that comes out of my head. So I brought up last episode that there was a situation where I said, did I bring this up? Did we talk about it?
I don't think so. I don't know that you talked about it on the podcast.
Anyway, so the jerkiest thought is always the one that seems to get to the forefront. And so, do I wish that this thought would fall out of my mouth like a buffalo being hunted and off the cliff to its death? Yes. But does it? No.
Yeah.
Does it fly around and look majestic, not like a butterfly, but like a dark fallen angel of a thought? Sometimes it can be tricky because you see something flying and you go, oh, that's beautiful. And then all it's really intending on doing is butt fucking your eardrums. So it's hard for me because that's my first thing. So, and I think that is also because of, I don't know, I have some negative family members that's kind of been our thing the whole time. Also, though, it happens to fall under the umbrella of ADHD, anxiety, sprinkled with the tism. It's got a lot. It's all of those things are kind of mixed together now.
Yeah.
I've always said, well, I'm an asshole. And I think that's, I don't think I'm an asshole. I think I'm very nice. I think I'm very generous. If you made me do a list, I think I'm a pretty nice guy. But my initial thought is always, what the fuck? Like, for example, right, we've been talking about this ADHD for quite a while. And
well, not like that. It's recent.
Like within the month, probably.
Well, yeah.
Because one of the things is quick to anger, which to me is also that first thought is negative. It is, misplacing things. I left a computer in a hotel room. However, I'm in a hotel room almost every weekend, and that's the first thing I've left in several years. So I feel a little vindicated about that. I left the dog outside overnight, and the police were called by our neighbors not because our neighbors are jerks, because our neighbors thought we maybe had been murdered, and that's why the dog was left out. Here's what actually happened. As you know, I don't sleep great, although 88 today, optimal sleep score on my Oura Ring. What's up, boy?
Still not sponsored, but God, would we love it.
Yeah, I don't know why, because we already have them, but still, we'll keep talking positively about them.
Yes.
so 88, but I was very tired. We are recording 2 days after we recorded the last episode.
Yeah.
Fourth wall down. I'd still had all that stuff on my mind from our conversation. I took my nighttime powder that I started to get back into, because instead of using water, I'm using milk, which makes me have to pee less, which I don't know the science behind that, but that's fine. And I left. So I went outside with Poe, and he wasn't even leaving the steps. And so I was like, I'm just going to go in, wash my face, brush my teeth, and then whatever. Well, once I was inside, I don't ever do that. I always wait right by the door for him. And I think in my head, I was like, well, this is now my nighttime routine. I crawled in bed. Next thing you know, doom, 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 cops were at the door wondering if we'd been murdered. And so, which by the way, rude way to knock if you think people are dying. Right? That's a pretty aggressive knock. It's like, I'm bleeding to death. Can you relax? But I do get the point. And so we've had this conversation about, do I have this thing?
Yeah.
I went online. I found a neuropsychology group. I filled out a form to get an appointment. I hadn't heard anything back from them. So I called them this morning, and they said, oh, we don't do assessments, which is pretty wild to do to someone that might have, like, is quick to anger.
Yeah.
And then I called another person, and they were like, oh, do you have a referral? And I said, oh, I don't. And they go, well, you need one. And I go, okay, great. I'll just go get one. And they go, and we're booking out to next year. January. That is 7 months away. That's pretty wild, which is also a funny thing to do when people are like, well, I think I'd like to figure this out.
Yeah.
You sure can in 7 months. Yeah.
Our health system is so fucked in so many ways. It's like, Jesus Christ. I know I was telling him, it's similar when you are going through depression. It's like, can be so hard to get an appointment like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, imagining somebody who's truly in like a depressive episode, working up the energy and the drive to go through the process to get an appointment, and then being like, actually, you have to wait 7 minutes. Like, I can't even bathe right now. Like, I can't take care of myself, and you want me to continue to do admin work? Like, it's so hard. So anyway.
Yeah. Now, what is going to change if I find out I have ADHD or whatever else? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm old enough to where I have gotten through life so far, and obviously, I'm going to have to be more. But here's the thing: even if I don't, I should have to be more mindful of being grumpy and being quick to anger, whatever. Like yesterday, I was in Target, and we had just had this conversation about this stuff, and there were 2 kids skateboarding in there, and I saw one of them fall. And like everyone kind of look with disapproving looks. And my initial thought is, I should go tell those guys to get out of here. But instead I said, not my circus, not my monkeys. And I just went about my day. Yeah. And then an older Asian woman that worked at Target went over and said, I need you guys to not do that. And then they started mocking her. And that's when I was like, oh my God, my alarms really went off.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, you're not, Robin Hood, whatever. So then I go, maybe I'll just go stand over there by them, because I do look like I probably have a shotgun in my truck.
Yeah. If you had the look on your face that you did during last episode's podcast, if I were them, I would have.
Yeah. So anyways, so I went over there, and I was just going to, if they said any more stuff, I was just going to go, hey man, she's just doing her job. Cool it. But they left anyways.
Yeah. See?
So anyways, I didn't have to say anything. I didn't even get mad. I was actually smiling the entire time.
That's great.
Because I did feel like you had called it in to see if I would fail the test.
I have to say, funny side note, one of the comments left on last week's episode was, I'm having fun. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't say that to you.
Oh, I saw another one too that said, I'm having fun, just ... Yeah. The comments are very good. The listeners are very funny.
Very funny, guys. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, when you're saying like, what will this assessment do, even if they tell me, yes, it's this, yes, it's this. And I do think it's like interesting to see what the medication possibilities are, or like the supplement possibilities. You know,
Sure.
I'm always big on natural stuff if that's a good option. But I do have a lot of people in my life who feel that they have really benefited from Adderall, but at like the right amount, because I mean, it's like it's a drug, right? And it's like it has to be, I think, taken the right way and at the right amount and all that stuff. But I'm not an ADHD expert. It just, from what I've come to understand, it does seem like it's a dopamine, like that's a big part of it, is a dopamine issue. And learning more about it, whether that's what you have or not, I think has helped me understand you more, because there are times where whether we're having a fight or just a conversation, sometimes it feels like not only are we not on the same page, like we're not in the same book. Like our brains approach something from two completely different places, and it's tough. It's like hard, I think, to understand each other sometimes when we are like, oh, it's not even that I wouldn't have thought the way you thought about it. It's like, I didn't even know thinking about it that way was possible.
Yeah.
Like, we're so different in certain things. So,
And I'm sitting there like, why are your chemical levels correct? Fuck you.
yeah. And I'm like, what is going on in your brain to like get to where you're getting?
A party.
And
A straight party. It's fucking awesome in here.
And I'll show you. I just saw a clip on TikTok that I thought was interesting about chemically what happens in an ADHD brain. And I'm like, oh, it's so interesting to think about it from.
But to be fair, but if I have it, we don't know.
If you have it,
we don't know. But there, as a magic 8-ball might say, all signs point to yes. And I'm willing to try whatever just to see. But I am interested too, because, my sister, I talked to her about it, and she has been diagnosed with it. And she said, like, a lot of people will use sugar as the dopamine to send it to the front of the brain.
Interesting.
And so, when I cut out sugar, I looked great, but I felt not great.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
So maybe, listen, we're just going to see. I think that's all you can ever ask for in these situations is go do the work, make an appointment, get a referral, because, a nurse practitioner absolutely should be able to write on a piece of paper and send you somewhere, even though you have all the information already. What the fuck? And so I have an appointment for that, and then I'm going to go see one of these brain doctors.
Them brain doctors.
One of them fancy brain shrinkers. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you know what else is interesting about what you're saying with sugar, with dopamine? Also, it's really common for people who are either have ADHD or are neurodivergent in some way, like looking to get that dopamine, is common for there to be gambling, which you love to do.
Oh, I don't know if that's fair. Gambling is fucking awesome.
I know, but hold on.
Okay.
Gambling also...
By the way, this is how people that have this stuff deal with it. I mean, who fucking doesn't gamble? I know lots of gamblers.
So often when I bring something, it's like, well, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but I mean, who? Now, am I quick to anger, or is that person being a twat?
I've heard the sentence in the last couple of weeks. I'm not gonna let these letters then be the reason behind everything I do.
Because sometimes it does feel like it's a little bit piling on. Sometimes it's it's like a horoscope where you're like, oh my God, are you a Pisces? I knew that was gonna happen. It's like, fuck you. The stars are the stars.
I know. And I have really tried to be mindful of not piling on and not making you feel, any sort of way.
And you have done a great job.
Thank you. But yeah, gambling is common, and excessive spending and shopping, because every time you place the bet on something, every time you buy something, you get the dopamine hit. And so it's like beep, 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 beep. It's like a drip. It's like you're getting it. And so
It feels great.
I'm sure it does.
Who needs a nurse call button when I have fucking Amazon on my phone?
I'm sure it does feel great.
I have the app.
You know.
I just ordered some new shoes.
Did you seriously?
No,
Oh my
I
God.
have so many pairs of shoes. I still look at them, and then sometimes here's what I'll even do. I'll look at the pair I really want. That is, it's expensive to the point where I can't even justify it. And then I will look for a combination of different shoes that add up to that and be like, oh, I could get 7 pair for that. Why don't I just do that? But I haven't ordered any.
That's great.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly
Our
because I
house-
can't even wear the ones that I have now.
Our house is a Foot Locker in the mall. It's true. Like I've never seen so many pairs of shoes in my life. It's like that Harry Potter curse where somebody touches something. It's like when the goblet.
Oh,
And it was like ping, 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 and it just would like multiply. That's how I feel like shoes are in this house. Where like a bin in the garage is open. I'm like, what the fuck? There's 17 other pairs in there. What are those shoes?
know.
Here's what's interesting. I think because this is like a Marie Kondo decluttering method, is that if you could take things and like put them in the trunk of your car or whatever, and a month went by or 2 months went by and you weren't able to say what was in there, then you don't need it.
I can tell you exactly where all my shoes are. And you know what? Maybe I didn't get shoes when I was younger and that's why I buy them now. Or maybe I didn't get enough dopamine when I was younger and that's why I fucking buy them now. But the point is, we got to hurry up because the games are starting and I have money on them. Oh my God, DraftKings.
I forgot we're sponsored by DraftKings.
Well, I mean, I will stick by gambling even if it is a dopamine hit. I mean, that's why people love it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's why you get the olds that have to put the chair up against their slot machine while they take their rascal scooter to go piss. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah. Well, thanks for talking about everything so openly.
Yeah, but listen, this is how it is, and if any of you are having the thoughts about this stuff or whatever, this is a real thing. If you want to email me and give it a chance to figure it out, I'm happy to. I mean, I will always tell you guys, I will go to a doctor, I will go to a therapist. In this situation, I will go to a neuropsychologist just to see. I mean, you know, I'm old.
Yeah.
So I have learned how to deal with it, kind of like Dexter, without the murder so far.
Yet.
Look at me, cat. Look at me, cat. No, but I'm always willing to do that stuff and then just see kind of where it goes. I'm never opposed to, well, I'm this way because of this. I don't know either.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just another quick thing before we move on. You have turned so much of this into comedy, whether it's on Middle of Somewhere, it's with the Chat in Public segment,
Right.
or stories on stage. It's like,
Yeah, if you listen to my stand-up,
yeah.
it's for sure diagnosable.
Yeah. I mean, those things that you share that you do are very compelling stories for other people that are like, holy fuck, that's wild that you did that. But yeah, to like actually feel that way in public and be living that way and having those thoughts is, you know, I'm sure stressful.
Yeah, I mean, I try to explain to you, I have a waterfall of thoughts, and it's very, very hard to get them to slow. And so that's why I think that probably happens to a lot of people that have ADHD, is that there are so many thoughts, you're trying to compartmentalize them as well as you can. And then somebody brings something else. And that's why your anger starts at a 7 or 8, because you're like, what the fuck? I'm trying to do this. I explained it to my therapist as you finally figure out how to juggle 10 things. And as soon as you're like, oh shit, look at this. Then someone walks by and just throws something else in there. And you're like, everything hits the ground and you're like, you motherfucker.
Right.
So, Yeah. Do I have all of the things? Do I have these stories that make me look like a prick? Yes. Do I have a wonderful house and a lake cabin? Somebody figured it out.
Oh my God. Yeah, but you don't have to be an asshole to be funny and be successful.
That's true. And
you have figured it out.
I stand by that. For the most part, I am a decent contributing member of society.
It's true.
Yeah.
I would not have moved my life here to be with you forever if I was like, this guy's an asshole.
Sure.
Because I am not interested in that.
Right.
Well,
I also really didn't start letting you know until you'd moved here, but yeah, that's kind of how I
did feel slightly tricked.
But that's not fair.
But it wasn't you didn't do that maliciously. I don't think there was ever any conscious thought of like, I'm gonna wait until she gets here to start like really letting these walls down in a way where
right.
And I think it was also, you've talked about part of letting your walls down is something that triggers that part of you, because it's like, oh my God, we're being so vulnerable. We're trusting somebody so much. Like, I am terrified to get hurt. And then I think those things get very heightened as well.
Yeah. And I am also feeling a little tricked about some things too, but we don't have to discuss that right now. I just want to say it.
Like what?
Even if it's not true, I just want to say it so it felt more equal.
I'm like, I didn't trick you about anything.
I know.
Well, don't say that.
Well, that's why I said the rest of it.
I'm sure it has felt this as open as you've been this episode. I'm sure it's probably not also fun to like sit here and be the person that we're like talking about.
That's okay.
But I appreciate you.
If and this isn't me being on a high horse, I hope it doesn't sound like this, but if me talking about this and being as honest as I can, even if one person is like, oh shit,
yeah,
then that's fine with me.
Yes.
And if the rest of them are like, fuck you, dude.
No.
I get it. That's okay.
Nobody's going to think that. And I've said this to you off air. I am like, for those of you who listen, who are in a relationship, I will say that, it has been so great to see, like, as these things have kind of come to a head, that Chad has been completely willing to do everything to figure this out. And I think that is like, that's all you can really ask for. So I really appreciate that you're doing that.
You're welcome. And if I go get this referral from someone not qualified to give it, and I make it to a neuropsychologist and they tell me, nah, you're just you, dog. There's going to be hell to pay. Everyone take heed. There's going to be hell to pay. I'm getting some free dinners out of this shit, and I'm going to be as mad as I want whenever I want, Jerry.
Guys, rewind it back to the days of chillaxing on the beach and all-day fun with spring break on DraftKings Casino. Play exclusive games like Fan Fave Rocket. The excitement is endless, the vibes are right, and the cash prizes could be huge. I did a pretty good Chad impression there.
You took her.
New players start playing with just $5 and get 100 back instantly in casino credits. Download the app and use code PRETEND to book your one-way ticket to fun with DraftKings Casino. I don't know if the placement of this ad in the episode will be before or after us talking about Chad's love for gambling, but you know that he's all about it. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love gambling.
Yes.
Whether it's a dopamine hit or me cashing in. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Doubt it. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, I pronounce all the letters. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit, keep hitting 7 if you're not sure, or visit ccpg.org. Please and I mean this, for the love of God, play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only, void in Ontario, Canadian. Eligibility and other restrictions apply. 1 per opted-in new customer. $5 wager required, max. Is your name Max? I'm talking to you, but also maximum. $100 in casino credits awarded, which require one-time playthrough within 168 hours. You do the math. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos. Restrictions, and I mean this, they apply.
Back to the show.
The crown is yours.
The crown is yours. Oh boy, should we do the middle segment?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's a good question for today.
Okay.
So I pulled another, different card. I pulled another card from the We're Not Really Strangers deck, which is what we used for last week's middle segment. So this one, my question for you is,
Okay.
what do you think our most important similarity is?
I mean, have you been listening? Apparently nothing. We have nothing in common. I tricked her. She feels like a prisoner in her own home.
What do you think our most important similarity is?
Our number one similarity, I think, well, this, fucking spit your food out. You got it? I don't want anyone barfing or anyone. I think it is the amount of work we will put in to protect this.
I love that.
That's what I think.
Nice. I always want to just in real life, I would just lean over and kiss him, but I don't want to gross you viewers out. But mentally, I'm kissing you right now.
Sure.
That's a really, really sweet thing to say.
Here, kiss my pillow. Kiss my pillow's lips.
If you remember, Poe has fucked that pillow. So no, I'm not going
Right
to
in the
kiss
face.
that pillow's lips.
And maybe that's why I got left outside. No, it's not a punishment. It was just me being stupid.
Yeah. Also, he's... What?
Nothing.
Oh, did I say yeah? No, I was...
I go, me being stupid, you're like, yeah.
I meant more to...
I'm just teasing. I know what you're saying.
By the way, Poe's completely fine, thankfully.
Oh,
it was not a cold night or rainy night. And
yeah, and we have a big, huge, I don't even know what you'd call that. It's not an awning, but it's like a...
Yeah, it's not
a cover to the entrance.
Yeah, he never stays the night outside, so I'm sure he was like, what the fuck is going on? But he is fine, and it just...
He was probably finally a night without those fucking cats.
Yeah. I think that our most... I always have two. I'm sorry. Well, one of them...
no. Hey, guys, my hot girlfriend has 2 good answers about our relationship. Wah, wah.
Well, I think the first one is close to what you said, but I think the way we love each other and the people in our lives, I feel like we really go all in. And I think that's a really important similarity we have. And then the second one, I mean, this is kind of obvious, but comedy and our humor, I just feel like that people ask us oh, being 2 comics, is it just nonstop jokes in your house? And no, I mean, obviously you saw last episode. No, it's not.
And you saw the beginning of this one too.
It's not nonstop.
There's not one fucking joke ever. It's just all serious all the time.
It is not nonstop jokes. We do fight sometimes, but I mean, for sure, compared to the average household, we are trying to make each other laugh throughout the day, every day. Even if we have a rough part of a day, we get back to jokes. I feel like that's actually how we move through fights a lot, is that we will try to joke about it as quickly as possible.
I would say the ratio of trying to make the other one laugh to trying to make the other one cry is about 3 to 1. It's about 3 to 1, 3.5 to 1 ratio.
Yeah. So that was fun. As always, if you're listening with a partner or a friend, family member, I think it's good to ask those questions.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Absolutely.
Should we do some tour dates?
Yes.
Okay. Also, one quick thing. I know last episode I mentioned that I would have had my peanut allergy test in person by now. They had to push it a couple weeks.
Push it real good.
The cats and dog are like, please, enough. Yeah. It got pushed, so just stay tuned for that. I did find out the rest of my food allergies came back, and then somebody said, "Oh, it's like we don't know that that's for sure accurate." I'm like, "Well, what the fuck am I doing? I don't know." But eggs, kiwi. I love kiwi, and
it's the egg of fruits. It looks just like an egg.
Oh, you're right.
It's the egg of fruits.
You're right. Cashews, pistachios. I already felt like I knew pistachios for sure because I had fancy guacamole in Seattle years ago, and people put crushed up pistachios in the guacamole, and I'm like, just leave guacamole be. It doesn't need fanciness like that in it, and I didn't know there were pistachios in it, but I could just tell as soon as I ate my food, my tongue felt really weird, and then I looked in the mirror and it had puffed up. It was like a beignet in my mouth, and I was like, I think something's up here.
Sure.
Anyway.
She also, and this is the killer for us, I think, can't have duck eggs. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I'm so sorry. That's like our nightly thing.
What am I going to put on my caviar?
Yeah. Oh, ginger also.
Oh, yeah, you can't have ginger, which is kind of weird.
Sushi. I have ginger
hair.
all the time. A ginge.
You a ginge, girl.
I'm a ginge. Anyway. But I'll keep you posted on the peanut challenge. I rubbed it on my skin yesterday, which was exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, she just walks over. She goes, I'm going to do something. Like, all right. Fucking rub. Like she's sampling perfume. And then now I have to put my phone down. I shut my laptop and I'm just watching her walk around because I know where my EpiPen is. And there's no bees in the house, so I'm okay. And so I'm just watching. Nothing happened. So guess what? Oh, shit. Daddy's going to eat peanut butter.
We'll see. I mean, rubbing on your skin's
No, we don't see.
It was a good start. It's a good start. Okay, let's do some tour dates and then we'll do listener questions.
Okay, I'm going to be in Cincinnati this week. Is there anyone in Ohio listening to a podcast about mental health? I don't know, but I'm going to be in Cincinnati. And then I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, the 17th through the 19th. Then I'm going to be, we talk about this all the time, I'm going to be in Springfield, Missouri. Then we're going on the Burt tour down south. And then I'm going to be in Detroit. And then I have August off. I'm going to a cousin's wedding, and I'm very excited about that. Mm-hmm. And then September, we start up again. Spokane is my first, and then the rest are on my... if you don't follow me, if you just follow her on Instagram, give me a fucking follow. Why are you being so selfish with your follows?
Vice versa. Follow both of us, please.
Trust me, they follow you already.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You have all the followers. I need some more. Please follow me on Instagram, and then I don't even have to do these fucking tour dates. I can just post on there every 6 months like I do.
Yeah, if you don't already, could you guys take a second and follow us on all socials? If you're a TikTok person, if you're a Facebook person, Instagram, just follow us.
Sure.
It really helps us. Okay, guys, next weekend, I'm off this weekend, but next weekend I'm going to be at Comedy Works in Denver, one of my favorite clubs in the world. It's where I shot The Hustler. And then in June, I'm going to be in Kansas City. I'm excited for that. I'm also going to be, like Chad said, on the Fully Loaded tour with him and Bert Kreischer. Mm-hmm. And that's in Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida. In July, I'm going to be in Charlotte and Raleigh. September, I'm going to be in Timonium / Baltimore area. You heard. September 19th through the 21st, Fort Collins, Colorado. Also a great club, the Comedy Fort. October, I'm going to be in Omaha. First time there. October 18th through the 19th, Phoenix. November, I'm in Providence and Dania Beach. December, Austin and San Antonio for my Texas people. I told you I was coming this year. I'm going to be there.
Yep, nice.
And then we're planning on Dallas and Houston early next year, so stay tuned for that if you're in those markets. But kelseycook.com for tickets.
That's right. ChadDaniels.com/tour. Skip a click. Type in the /tour.
Oh, you're smart. Skip a click with me too. Put in tour.
Yeah, you might as well. And listen, here's my wish list for next year. I got some Cleveland. I got some Tempe. I have
your wish list.
It is my wish list because I've gone to all these other things. I'd like to get back to Addison. I really enjoy the Dallas area. I'm going to be in Houston, whatever, blah blah blah, and I'm just basically saying this while she gets the question.
Thank you. I am currently resting the laptop on Mia because she won't move. Is that comfortable for you?
That's got to be. Nope.
I don't. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna like that, Mia. Okay. Well, I don't know what to do. We're gonna do our best here. Okay.
What was that last one?
I feel like we can read it, but it's more of like a visual because there's a picture. But okay, you know what? We'll just do this one real quick. They say, well, it's titled Crossover Sorry / Not Sorry. They say, hey, y'all, I've got enough relationship problems to be your only source for the pod, but we won't make this about me. I listened to Middle of Somewhere as well and just wanted to tell my husband, crush, chatty daddy. You better watch yourself.
Oh, what's up, girl?
You better watch yourself. And you better watch yourself.
Oh, I mean, I have ADHD.
Is that what you're going to say to try to keep women away now?
Oh, I'm going to tell you right now, if I get blamed for it, it's going to be the fucking number one excuse in my life.
Wait, I don't get it. Oh, I get it. I'm sorry. Figure that all out. Got it. That this is how I feel about his stance on rings on index fingies. I love somebody who says fingies. Love you both endlessly, and I'm so happy you found each other. Can't wait to see you on the road. XOXO. And then this is the picture she attaches, is that there's an index ring that says fuck. It just says fuck. I like that. Be kind of funny to put that on your middle finger.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding when I say watch your back. I'm glad you're a fan of Chad, and I'm glad you love both of us, and we appreciate you listening to the pod and Middle of Somewhere.
Yes, that's very nice.
Okay, this next one I'm excited about. It's titled Farticate Update.
Oh, hey.
We titled a whole episode after you, sir. They say, Chad and Kelsey Farticate guy here. I had my wife listen to the episode, and well, Chad, she doesn't think much of your advice. If you would like a quick refresh before we get into the rest of what they say, we had somebody write in maybe 3 episodes ago who said that he left the room to fart.
Right.
And his wife was unhappy about the smell, that it somehow followed him back in or something, but that she was like sincerely mad at him. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Also, guess what? Update. I'm not cool with her attitude still. How about that? No update needed.
Double update. In fact, she informed me that if I were to fart directly on her forehead.
Oh, that's the advice I gave?
Yes.
Oh, sometimes I forget. Guys, I have a mental disorder.
I have ADHD. She would straight up kill me, then find and kill you. Or at least hurt us really bad. She is a very determined...
That's very funny.
She is a very determined person and a government employee privy to many sources of information, so I do not doubt her ability to carry out the threat. Kelsey, she thought you were very funny and remarkably tolerant of Chad.
Wow. Fucking twat alert.
Don't you dare.
I get to.
Oh my God.
You've picked your side and it's not me. And guess what? I'm more hurtful than she is. You should have went the other way, because she would have been like, that's okay. But guess what? I have ADHD. Fuck you. Quick to anger.
Quick to anger. As a fellow person with a sensitive stomach, she wishes you well with your issues. Love the podcast. Farticus. Thank you.
I am Farticus. I am Farticus.
Oh, God. We need that merch. Get me a shirt that says remarkably tolerant. Boy. Funny.
I am a catch.
You.
Okay? I am. Listen, maybe I'm a little long in the tooth. Maybe I'm quick to anger at certain things, but I am a fucking catch. Remarkably tolerant. I'll get a fucking shirt that says single.
Watch your mouth.
Well, remarkably tolerant, quick to anger.
God. Okay. This is...
Listen, everybody wants me to love myself until I start doing it.
That is not true.
And then all of a sudden, t-shirts are not welcome.
Not true. Okay, this is titled Long Distance.
Okay, I'm going to get my mind right here.
Okay. They say, hello, Chad and Kelsey. I love this podcast so much. Thank you. I found it through Chad's Instagram. Well, it looks like somebody does have a follower. Okay.
That is actually very surprising. She made the clip.
And I've been a fan since Footprints on the Moon. Also a Minnesota local. Go Wild. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm writing today about my long distance situation. I'm starting a new job in a few months where I'm going to be about 10 hours away from my boyfriend for 6 months. Ooh, I'm sorry. I know you guys do long distance weekends a lot with touring. Do you have any tips for being away and busy? You can use my first name and thank you guys in advance. I will be so shocked if this makes the podcast. Well, Chloe, throw that shock in the trash, baby.
Chloe.
Here we are. Wow. Okay, I have to burp. Hold on. Okay. I was a lady about it. I didn't let it rip into the mic.
Nice of you. I feel like I'm being remarkably tolerant.
Darn it, you took my call back.
Tolerant.
You took my call back away. I'm going to say it at some point too. And you guys as listeners have to laugh. Okay. So, even though I can't hear you anyway.
Yeah.
So Chad and I, we are long distance about a third of most weeks, which it fucking sucks. There's no way around it.
Yep.
Although I will say, I think there are, like, I have a friend in my life, she travels a lot, and she and her partner are just like two very, very independent people. And they seem to just like get through it with flying colors. Like, it doesn't seem to bother them too much. They don't talk that frequently, I don't think, when they're apart, but they just like are okay. Chad and I are little puppy dogs with each other.
I feel like I'm more independent than you. I do. I think that, but I
am shocked you think that.
But just wait. But
I do not agree at all.
Oh, I do.
Okay, tell me why you think this.
Yeah.
I will be open-minded.
We just had a conversation. We just did a check-in. Remember the check-in we talked about where we ask each other the 6 questions?
We still have to go over the check-in with you listeners.
We just did one of those before the episode. And one of them was, one of the things that we talked about were our expectations for this week when we're gone, because I'm going to be, this will already have happened, but Nashville and Las Vegas. You have a friend coming to Las Vegas, and we just talked about what we think is like an appropriate amount to talk, what we think about like response time, stuff like that. And I could see why you think that I am less independent in that mode.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to like being alone,
yeah,
I do think I can handle that a little better.
Okay. Yeah. But I don't think I handle it poorly.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like if you're a C+, I'm an A-.
Sure. You have said to me before that you could be by yourself at the lake cabin in the winter for like weeks and not have any issue with that.
Right.
I couldn't handle that. So I see what you mean in that way, that it's like you can kind of just do your own thing.
Yeah.
I think, but I don't feel like you're more independent when it comes to communication, which is what I thought this was.
Sure.
We were talking about.
Okay.
Well, what do you think of that?
I think I could be fine if I know the rules.
Okay. That's fine.
I think in any given situation, and this might be sprinkled with the tism, but in any given situation, if I know the rules and people play by the rules, I am a fucking ray of sunshine. If I don't know the rules or the rules get changed mid whatever, then I'm just like, well, this doesn't make sense. I had my all this planned based on this. So what about this? Why is this happening?
Right.
So I think if I know the rules, and I think that's important to answer this question, I think you should let each other know your expectations. Let each other know your expectations.
Yeah.
And then also be on the same page, like with the rules. Now, I'm not saying rules like fucking hard and fast. This isn't prison, lights out at 8. I'm saying, like, just give each other what you expect and then do it. Yeah.
Yeah. We were talking about this coming weekend in particular because I had just had a weekend where a different friend had come and visited me. And I get very stressed when I've got a friend with me who I'm trying to like be present with and communicate in person, but then also trying to maintain my phone communication with Chad. And so that was part of like the check-in this week was like, hey, that felt stressful for me. How can we navigate this so that we're like both on the same page in what we expect?
And when she got home, I was like, yeah, I wasn't like, I didn't feel like I was pressuring you to respond or anything. But you just felt that way.
Right.
And so we had to have that conversation as well when we got home.
Right. Yeah. So what you're asking us, I think people sometimes don't, if you are a couple who is very like close, affectionate, very communicative, long distance requires a lot of work. Like we've been doing, Chad and I started long distance, and then we have to continue doing long distance because of touring. And I mean, we're still figuring it out because it's hard. It's like you have to have so much trust. You have to really know what the other person's expectations are for like frequency of communication, response time. I think having a routine is super helpful. So Chad and I, we always start our mornings apart by texting each other good morning.
Yep.
With a kissy face emoji or a heart emoji. It's
also true.
Because we're mushy and gross. But we like, there's always that check-in of we let the other person know when we're up, like ask how we slept, kind of what the plans are for the day. And then we talk on the phone at least once, and we always have like a nighttime check-in too. And so that's like a really broad example of our routine. We also have tried to get more creative with, we've done like FaceTimes where we'll queue up one of our favorite shows.
Yeah, that we're watching at home. And so it feels like we're doing, so it's not just a random show, it's something that we are in the process of watching.
Yeah.
And so it feels like kind of a normal situation.
Totally. Yeah. So I've really, really loved doing that because, and we did that with
Breaking Bad.
With Breaking
Better
Bad.
Call Saul.
Better Call Saul. And then I loved doing it with basketball during March Madness.
Yeah.
Because it's like, then you don't even have to deal with queuing it up in the same time frame. It's just like you can both watch something on TV at the same time.
Now, spoiler alert, there's going to be some delays for one of you. And so you're going to have to understand you can't go, holy shit, when the other person's still on commercial.
It's true. It's true. But I really like that because I'm getting to see you, which that's another thing you need to ask your partner is like, do you like FaceTimes? Do you like phone calls? Do you prefer voice messages instead? Like I've found out with Chad fairly early on that he's not a big phone call or FaceTime person.
I can be a phone call person.
Phone call person. Okay.
FaceTime is like, well, it's tough because when you're on FaceTime, and this is whatever, people are going to get mad, but the truth is, this is how I feel. Okay. When you're on FaceTime, you could be fucking disheveled. You could have been kidnapped, buried alive, taken out, and FaceTiming me in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and you look great. And then I'm like, I fucking put up a light, and I got to make sure the window's open. I have to make sure the background is like light enough so I look a little, my skin looks a little darker, and all this shit. She's fucking holding it like this. I'm not gonna hold it like this.
I don't hold it like
that. I put it up against something a little higher, for angles. And it is a process for me to feel like I look good on a FaceTime. And so that's why. Because for her, she's like, want a FaceTime? And if I go, yeah, it immediately goes, she like just clicks it from wherever the fuck she is. And I'm like, hold on. I got to get the production team in here. I got to get makeup, lights, all that stuff. So it is hard. I could call all day long.
Yeah. Phone call, but not FaceTime.
Right.
I prefer FaceTime because I get to see him, and then it makes me feel so much more connected to him, especially for like watching a show together. It's so nice to get to see him, and just it's like we're home. And
I feel like she's going to go, what the fuck am I doing? Another trick after I moved across the country. Here, can I tell you something else? I think 10 hours, okay? Say you mentioned Minnesota, so winter's going to be involved in this. But 10 hours, maybe you get a map and you find the middle location between the two cities and you draw a circle that is 4 to 6 hours away from each of you, if that makes sense. And then you go, maybe we go here. Maybe we get an Airbnb in this place. Maybe we go check out this cafe that has amazing reviews in this place next time.
Yeah.
Next time, maybe we camp in the woods. Maybe we get interesting. Maybe we fuck under the moon light on a picnic table. I don't know what you want to do. I'm just saying that is another thought, that instead of always going to one of your places, you could meet in different spots in the middle while keeping the time fair, the travel time fair, and then you could check out different spots.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel like as time has gone on in our relationship that you feel more comfortable doing FaceTimes with me?
Trick question alert. Trick question alert. Yeah.
Okay, good. I said trick question.
Because you're putting me on the spot right now.
I'm sorry.
No, it does. No, it is better, and it, whatever. It just I have my things. Okay, I have my hangups.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do the next question. But I'm sorry that you're about to be long distance. Thankfully, there is a light at the end of that tunnel.
Right.
And you guys will get through it just fine.
Start a countdown for sure. One of those goddamn Christmas chains.
Yeah, start a countdown. Okay, so this is titled Your Relationship, Not Mine. They say, I have been a longtime fan of Kelsey, who introduced me to Chad, and now I can't decide who is my favorite. You know who's your favorite.
That's very nice.
So they say, your podcast is my favorite relaxation, and I have watched every episode. I'm looking forward to seeing Kelsey live for the first time in North Carolina.
Ooh, hell yeah.
If you see a distinguished gentleman in your merch line acting like an idiot, it will probably be me. Apologies in advance. Just don't try to kiss my hand, please, and we'll be fine. Chad, when are you coming to North Carolina?
I was there last year sometime. I normally do Charlotte, and then I'd go over to Raleigh.
Yes, which is what I'm doing in July. I watched the YouTube episode when you met, and it is so adorable to see you falling for each other. Have you considered a joint tour? I think that would be awesome. But then again, I'm not a comic, so do not take performance advice from a scientist. My question is not about my relationship, but about yours. You appear to be so supportive of each other's careers. Is there competition in this arena at all? Especially since Chad is dominating the belt winning in your household. Don't remind me of this, man. I'm kidding. If for some weird reason this email makes your podcast, you may use my name. Warmest regards, Giannis. Well, thank you for writing in.
Yeah.
We have considered a joint tour. I'm sure at some point we will do something with the podcast.
Right. What I would love is to take this on tour, maybe 10 cities.
Yeah.
And then we did something before that we've talked about called Notebook Rebuttal, where we got to tell our jokes about one another on stage, and then finally the other person had a chance to tell their side of it, which was I think very fun.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because we'll have new jokes about each other, and then we still have all those old jokes. So I think we will eventually be able to do it. The issue is, it's like, then we're also splitting our money, and we do have to think, like, unfortunately, sometimes financially about things. And so when we go out on the road ourselves, we make our own money. And then if we went out together, we would most likely have to split that same amount.
Yeah. And we got to pay for this goddamn mortgage.
Bills,
So you ask us if there's competition in the arena of our careers. And I think we've answered something similar to this before, but no. Amazingly, no.
Yeah, I immediately laid my guns down because I saw her on her little fancy rocket ship. And I'm like, this has been my career the whole time. And then hers was doing this. I'm like, there's no reason to want that when you've had this the whole time. So, I think we both agree we have different goals on certain things. And we both have our own thing going on.
Yeah. I do disagree. I mean, if you're not watching on YouTube, you can't see this, but Chad made a graph motion with his hand of his career going very steadily up but over time. He made one, I know, but you made one of mine that started here and just went very steeply up. And I have to remind you, this is my 15th year in stand-up, and the success I've had in the last like year or two has, I mean, not been overnight. That was like a long,
because I said started.
Oh, sure. Okay, sorry. Maybe I didn't see your hand the right way, but yeah. So, I mean, that's very, very nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And yeah, I've said on here before, Chad's my favorite comedian, and
well, you know, it's the same.
Oh, thank you. And we just are truly so excited for each other's careers and successes.
Sometimes one of us isn't as excited, and they should be. I think we've talked about that as well. I'm working on it. Okay, quick to anger, not quick to celebrate.
But your feelings are that you're excited. It's
big
just
time. Tell your face.
I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Face. Sometimes I'm such a oh my god, and you know, it's just a little different, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But our feelings about each other's careers is like 100% support, excitement, fuck yes, and it's so cool to do a podcast together because now we get to do something in our careers together, because stand-up is such a solo venture. It's like it's just you on stage, you're traveling by yourself. It's such a different thing than getting to podcast together.
Right.
And honestly, each other's success only helps the other person. Like, that's kind of a fun bonus.
Well, we've agreed not to split our money, so I don't necessarily know if that's the case. Buy me a vacation house.
Buy me a vacation
I did.
You did. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your cabin with me. But yeah, it's just like, it's only positive. It's only good stuff. And I think a lot of that comes from we started at different times, different places, when we got together in completely different places in our careers still at that time. And it's just like, there's never any feeling of anything I get would take away from him. Anything he would get would take away from me. That's just never been the case.
Right. Although sometimes we do get the same auditions for the same roles because of how we look, but she gets all these different auditions, and then sometimes they'll send me one. They'll be like, so specific, 49, born on March 2nd, white, grumpy, quick to anger,
grizzled man on the verge of getting an ADHD diagnosis.
Yeah, I do think that a lot of our support for one another in work comes from what we talked about earlier with that middle segment, that we put the work in to keep this good. And I think then, you know, the career stuff has no choice but to fall in line. But we are very supportive.
Yeah. Man, what a beefy episode this was.
It was beefy.
It was beef stew. Campbell's beef stew, baby. I regret saying that. That's okay.
I was just going to let you do it.
Guys.
Hopefully that pushed you over the edge on who your favorite is.
I don't know if I said it before we got into emails, but as always, if you want to write into us, it's pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com. Whether you want us to give you advice, whether you have a question about our relationship, whether you heard the stuff Chad talk about today and you've got advice or input, you know, Chad said he's open to it. So
yep, willing to listen, willing to learn.
Yeah. Where are you this weekend again? Nashville? Cincinnati. Go see Chad in Cincinnati. I'm sure those shows are, like, if not already sold out, on the verge. People love you there.
Come on over.
Hell yeah. And then come see me in Denver next weekend. All right, guys. Bye.